At the exact moment Washington is trying to cut off China's access to advanced chips, NVIDIA just co-launched a humanoid robot with a Chinese company. At the exact moment Washington is trying to cut off China's access to advanced chips, NVIDIA just co-launched a humanoid robot with a Chinese company. Let that sit for a second. The H2 Plus, built jointly with Unitree Robotics out of Hangzhou, runs on NVIDIA's Jetson Thor compute platform and is powered by Isaac GROOT, NVIDIA's foundation model for humanoid locomotion and manipulation. This isn't a licensing deal or a quiet software partnership. This is a joint product announcement, with both logos on the press release. I think a lot of Western viewers have a mental model of US-China tech as two completely separate worlds right now. And that model is wrong, or at least far more complicated than the headlines suggest. Unitree is one of the most credible robotics companies on the planet. Their quadruped robots, the Go series, have been used in research labs from MIT to ETH Zurich. They earned that reputation. So I'd argue NVIDIA didn't pick Unitree despite the geopolitical noise. They picked them because of the engineering. So what is the H2 Plus in practical terms? Think of it as a research-grade humanoid platform, not a commercial product you can buy off a shelf, but a standardized hardware-software stack that university labs and corporate R&D teams can actually build on top of. That distinction matters enormously. One of the biggest problems in humanoid robotics right now is that every team is reinventing the wheel. You spend 6 months just getting a robot to stand up reliably before you can even start your actual research. The H2 Plus is meant to eliminate that friction. On the hardware side, Jetson Thor gives it serious onboard compute. We're talking about a chip designed specifically for robotics workloads, with a transformer engine capable of running large multimodal models in real time. On the software side, Isaac GROOT is the interesting piece. It's NVIDIA's attempt to build a generalist foundation model for robot behavior, similar in philosophy to what OpenAI is doing with general-purpose AI, but grounded in physical manipulation tasks. Now, I'll be honest, I don't have a full spec sheet in front of me, so I'm hedging on exact performance numbers until those are independently verified. But the architecture alone puts this in a different class from most Chinese humanoid announcements I've covered, which tend to be heavy on demo videos and light on replicable research infrastructure. I think the H2 Plus is genuinely different. The GROOT integration is the part that could age very well. Here's the angle that I don't think is getting enough attention in the English language coverage. Humanoid robots and Chinese new energy vehicle manufacturing are on a collision course, and the H2 Plus sits right at that intersection. BYD, NIO, Li Auto, every major Chinese EV brand is under enormous pressure to drive down production costs. Labor costs in China are rising. The government has explicitly named humanoid robotics as a strategic priority in its industrial policy. And the factories that will absorb these robots first are almost certainly EV plants. Because they're already heavily automated, the workflows are structured, and the companies have both the capital and the incentive to move fast. I made a prediction about 18 months ago that Tesla's Optimus would be the dominant platform for factory humanoids by 2026. I'm walking that back. The pace of development from Chinese companies, Unitree, Agibot, Fourier Intelligence, has genuinely surprised me. And now with NVIDIA's compute and software stack underneath Unitree's hardware, the H2 Plus gives Chinese manufacturers a research-to-deployment pipeline that could accelerate things significantly. For comparison, Boston Dynamics has been doing this for over a decade and still hasn't cracked volume manufacturing deployment. I'd argue the H2 Plus has a more credible path to the factory floor in the next 3 years than Atlas does, precisely because it's designed as a platform rather than a showcase. Let me give you my actual read on what NVIDIA is doing here, because I think it's more strategic than it first appears. NVIDIA is not in the business of building robots. They're in the business of being the indispensable compute layer underneath every robot that matters. The same playbook they ran with gaming GPUs, then data centers, then autonomous vehicles, they're running it again with humanoids. And to do that, they need the best hardware partners in the world training on their software stack. Unitree is one of those partners. The H2 Plus isn't charity. It's a land grab. For Unitree, the upside is obvious. NVIDIA's software ecosystem, developer community, and global credibility. For NVIDIA, it's access to one of the most active humanoid development communities on Earth, which happens to be in China. Is this collaboration going to survive if U.S. export controls tighten further? Genuinely, I don't know. That's the real uncertainty hanging over this announcement. The Jetson Thor is a powerful chip, and the regulatory environment around advanced compute exports to China is shifting fast. I think both companies are betting the partnership can move faster than the policy. What I'm confident about is this. The H2 Plus is the most significant humanoid research platform announcement of 2025 so far, and the fact that it required both an American chip company and a Chinese robotics firm to build it tells you something important about where the real frontier of this technology actually lives. If you think I'm wrong about the H2 Plus beating Optimus to the factory floor, or if you think this collaboration falls apart inside 2 years, tell me exactly why in the comments. I read every one. And if you want more coverage of where Chinese robotics and EV manufacturing are actually headed, subscribing is the move.